We're here today to announce the first boxing to take place at the Royal Albert Hall, professional boxing, since 1999, which actually was the last show there, which is what I promoted, so I hope that's not an omen, but when Barrera fought there. But we're back there with Nathan Cleverly, who will be making a defence of his WBO light heavyweight title against Robin Krasniqi, who's ranked number 4 in the WBO. This is subject to WBO sanctioning, because at the moment, or we got very late yesterday, that Nathan has to make his mandatory defence. So whilst the negotiations go on for that, we want this fight to go ahead. So whatever happens, Nathan will fight on the 28th, and subject, as I say, to the WBO, it'll be against Krasniqi. So we're waiting, because of the time difference, waiting for a confirmation of that. Nathan's 24-0 now. He's fighting a guy whose record is 37-2. He's only had 2 losses, and they're on points. Again, I think it's a good fight for Nathan at this stage of his career, and hopefully he gets through this one. We've got a choice of doing the mandatory or a unification bout, and that's a decision we'll make, providing he comes through on this one. Nathan's one of only 2 British world champions. You know, when you look at what's been going on over the last few months, he's certainly one of the fighters that we, as Brits and Welsh, can be proud of. He's absolutely a consummate professional, both in and out the ring. He's a credit to the sport, and I feel that, as I said the other day, we get a few problems now and again in boxing, but he's one of the guys that we should be looking for the good in the sport and for the good of you know, what boxing can do for the community, because this guy's he's got it all as far as his background's concerned. Very, very bright guy, university graduate, and he's fast becoming, I think, becoming one of the most accomplished world champions around. There's a lot more to come from him. I think we've only seen about 80% of what he's got. I think there's much more to come when you think of his age. And as I say, I'm hoping that he comes through this fight okay, and we can go on to bigger fights in bigger venues. And obviously what we're looking to do is a big outdoor show in Wales in the summer. But in the meantime, we're at the prestigious Royal Albert Hall. And as I say, couldn't be anybody better than Nathan to open the hall up, the very famous hall up again, to boxing. We've got an undercard featuring Sam Webb against Matthew Hall, which is a final eliminator for the British light middleweight title. Billy Joe Saunders will probably be fighting for the English title. Frank Buglioni, Bradley Skeet, Bradley Saunders will all be on the bill, and there'll be another fight to be announced very soon. Got his dad and trainer here, who's done a fantastic job with Nathan, Vince, so if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask them. But don't rush.
Afternoon.
Afternoon.
It's your first fight since '99, so you're looking to have a lot more fights in the long term?
Oh yeah, it'll be the first of many shows. We're lined up to do a lot of shows here, there I should say, and for us, I think, or for boxing, I think it's great. It's the most prestigious venue. It may not be the biggest venue, but without a doubt, it's the most prestigious venue in the country. When you think of all the great British champions that fought there over the years. Last Welsh guy there was, I think, Joe Calzaghe. And you look at, you know, everybody who's been anybody in boxing has fought there. Nassim Hamid, Frank Bruno, Eubanks, Ben, and you can go back further to all the really big stars of their day. There's not an atmosphere like it. You know, it's a superb venue for boxing. It's in the round, and you know, I can remember sort of when I was a young man about 10 years ago. It wasn't me 20 years ago when I used to go there. We used to see some great shows, and I hope this is going to be a start of many more of them.
Nathan, what do you know of Krasniqi? Have you seen him fight or heard about it?
I know of his name. I know he's based in Germany. Good record, of course, but apart from that, I'm not I don't know too much about him. But when I go home, I'll have I'll look at him, study the videos, see what he's about, and work out a strategy to beat this guy.
Does it matter whether it's a mandatory or not, or the situation?
This is not Krasniqi is not the mandatory. This is a fight we're trying to get in before the mandatory. The problem is with the mandatory is there's the negotiation period, which should keep us at probably, that can take up to a month. So, you know, I don't want Nathan sitting around for a month, and you know we haven't got a month because we'll lose the date, or we'll have to put a different fight on there. And I really want Nathan to be the guy who opens this venue back up to British boxing.
So he'll definitely be fighting on the 28th.
Whatever happens,
Yeah.
whatever happens.
Afternoon. Was Krasniqi the only opponent that was looked at, or was there other?
No, we looked at
at
others. One priced himself completely out of it. So we're with Krasniqi. It was out of two. So we're with this one, and we'll see what happens in this. It's pointless. This is the one we're with.
Do you want to be especially busy this year, Nathan? I mean, was it two fights last year, wasn't it? And,
Yeah, well, it looks like we the start of this year we set up in that way. We've had one in February. We're straight back out now in April. There'll be one in the summer for sure. So yeah, it's going to be a fairly busy year for me. Keeping active. So it's you know it's great really. Yeah.
He's a young man. He's got to be busy, and that's the name of the game. I think the more fights he gets under his belt, the better the fighter he's going to become. And that's what we need to do. You know, all the comparisons that keep being made with Joe. Joe in the early stage of his career didn't fight as regularly as I liked him to be because of the injury problems and other problems. You know, Nathan needs it. He needs to get every fight he gets is going to be. It's going to be in the bag for him. Experience in the bag, points in the bag. It means that, you know, he's learning every time, and that's the only way fighters learn. Got to keep being busy. Champions should be busy. Make hay while the sun shines.
Are you going to be based in Wales again for this, leading up to this fight for your training? Are you going to be in London?
I'll probably stay based in Wales now. I've got 6 weeks left till the fight, or just under 6 weeks. So rather than wasting any more time, you know, thinking of plans, where to train, I'll just get on with it really. Go with my instincts, get on with training down in the valleys. It's worked for me up until now. So I'll just stick with the basics really for this fight. I'll make sure I get, the one thing I will make sure is that if I'm not going to travel to London for training camp for this fight, I'll make sure I get good sparring down. So, you know, make sure there's no stone unturned in my preparations.
Vince, have you noticed a difference in Nathan since he's become world champion in terms of his confidence and his ability, and has he progressed? He's making a progression, have you?
Yeah, I noticed that on his last fight against Carpenter. He has improved. I know people are going about Nathan's power and why ain't he finishing him, but Nathan has never been told to stop his opponents. He's all been told to box, work your way in for the stoppage. And he did a good 12 rounds with Bellew, which I thought was just a superb fight, because Bellew was at the top of his game. I think Bellew at that particular time would have beaten any light heavyweight in the world at that particular night, you know, when he fought against Nathan. And Nathan stepped up his game again then against Carpenter. He was a lot fitter than what he was on the Bellew fight.
Yeah.
And he's learning all the time, and the knockouts will eventually come.
Well, he stops 8 of his last 11.
Yeah.
You can't do no more than that. That's what
That's
he's
right.
done. And
I kind
He knows
of
more sometimes, don't you, with a longer fight than
Yeah.
a knockout.
Yeah, you know, the longer he does, he's done 24 rounds the last two fights. But it's excellent for him.
I
He's
think
got a
doing
learning
the
curve,
rounds
you know?
is the best thing.
Yeah.
When I come through as a young professional, I went the distance on several occasions, and that's why when my opportunity came for a title and I won the full 12 rounds at 21 years of age, that's why I was able to. It was hard, but if I hadn't had the rounds in the tank, I would have fell short. So I'm glad I got the rounds. and it puts me in good stead for the championship fights. With Carpentry, I'm glad in a way that I got good 12 rounds in the bank. It's only gonna help you for the future fights, because the top guys, they don't get knocked out. Hopkins doesn't get knocked out. Chad Dawson doesn't get knocked out. None of these guys, they will not get knocked out, because the top guys don't. You know, the Pascals, Travois Cloud, Babit Shumanov, none of those have got knocked out. So you need to have the rounds in the bank if you're going to take on those guys, because it's unlikely. It can happen, but it's unlikely you're going to take these guys out.
And this would be a different fight than the last one as well. You know, Kapensi, let's get it right. You know, the first 6 rounds he was intent on surviving.
Yeah,
That's what he did, and you know, he opened guys up, and which is what he done, broke him down, and you know, won every round. This fella comes to fight, he comes forward, he comes to fight, and this will be a totally different fight altogether, without a doubt.
Be prepared. Yes, be prepared for whatever boxer comes at him, to be honest. No.
No,
He's
as
ready
you
for the big names.
As you were saying, obviously this guy's never been knocked out. I've lost 2 fights, both on points.
Yeah.
So good chance it could
Yeah.
go the 12 rounds as well.
Well, it may do. Whatever it is, it'll be a good fight. That's for sure, because you know, it's that's where we want to be, and it will be a good fight. And as I say, as far as Nathan's concerned, as I say, the objective here is to keep him busy, to keep him. You know, I'd like to see him get 4 or 5 fights under his belt this year. I'd really like to see him see that happen.
Frank, what's the Albert Hall set up for? The
Full let says, I think, holds about just under. Well, you know, it holds about 5,500, of which you've got debenture holders. So we've only got a limited amount of tickets that we can sell. You know, the boxes are owned by people and so
For
forth.
the capacity for your crowd would be at 5.5.
It'll be a full. You know, it'll be opened up for everybody, but the people who've got boxes won't have to, unfortunately, will not be paying.
Nathan, you obviously have an eye on Hopkins and Dalton Park on the same night.
yeah, it's a great opportunity for me. Again, my world title fight later on in the night, Hopkins Dawson. So it's a great showcase for the light heavyweight division, really, and it potentially, if the winners comes through in a good fashion, potentially sets up a great fight for later in the year. Good unification fight. So
they're both fights are being screened on Box Nation, both including the Hopkins fight as well. So you can see where the direction we're trying to go with this is that the 2 winners fight each other. So it's a big night of boxing on the cruiserweight division on Box Nation on the 28th.
Light heavy.
Yeah. Sorry, light heavy. I just tested to see.
So it could possibly be a fight for the summer then at the Millennium Stadium.
Well, that's what we're angling for.
Yeah.
But they've all got to win. You know, they've all got to win.
Yeah.
Frank, is there a chance that Kevin Mitchell might be on that day?
I don't know. I don't think so at the moment. I don't think he's got enough time to prepare. So I doubt if he will be boxing on that belt. But there'll be another fight that we'll be announcing fairly soon. So it's big time boxing back at the most prestigious venue in the country, which I think is great news for boxing.